Hey everyone, in this video we're taking a look at the Double Andore MkII from Industrial Music Electronics, formerly known as the Harvestman. While it's often described as two envelope generators with two VCAs tacked on into one module, I've come to realize it's actually the reverse. The Double Andore is really like two of the most highly modulatable VCAs in eurorack with a function generator paired to each VCA. Seems like a subtle distinction, but it's a really important one, I think. Looking at each VCA, we have the required signal input, as well as CV input with a bipolar attenuverter, allowing you to scale or invert the control voltage for the VCA. In addition, you have a separate VCA gain offset control called VCA drone. But what I find the most unique about each VCA is the dedicated envelope amount attenuverter, which scales or inverts the accompanying envelope signal to the control of the VCA, as well as the cross-mod control, which allows you to modulate the one VCA by the signal output of the other VCA. Now double this functionality and you have by far one of the most capable dynamics control modules in eurorack. The envelopes are no slouch either. While the Double Andore MkI used a table of 16 possible different complex envelope shapes, the MkII opts for a more direct approach of a classic rise-fall function generator with continuously variable curve shape. It has a single input and mode selector, which determines whether or not the function generator will operate in attack decay mode, attack hold decay mode, or an external control voltage. There's also a dedicated cycle button for LFO self-cycling operation. There's a single CV control input, which can be routed to either the attack, decay, or both controls with its own attenuverter for scaling or inverting the signal. On the output side, we have a gate output, which can be set to be end of attack or end of decay. There's a full range positive envelope signal output, as well as a separate output that runs through an attenuverter, allowing you to create a separate scaled or inverted copy of the envelope. And lastly, a shape control with accompanying CV input for control over the attack and decay envelope shape. The unattenuated envelope out is also what goes to the envelope amount control of the accompanying VCA. So you can still use the full scale or separate attenuverting envelope output without affecting the amount you're choosing to modulate the VCA by, which is super, super handy. Lastly, there's individual outputs for each VCA as well as the mix output for both of them together. All right, let's jump right into some example patches. Okay, so what we have here is a sine wave from the DPO into the signal input on VCA-B. And I've set the attack and decay controls about halfway, and I'm going to start those cycling. Shape's currently set to linear, but we'll just turn it up exponential, give it a little more bit of a percussive sound. And I've routed the control CV input to both attack and decay. You can choose to route it to just attack, just decay, or both. And you'll notice very handily the envelope amount LED on VCA drone, so you can always get a sense of the control voltage going to the VCA. Now I've patched cycling envelope A out of that into the control input routed to attack and decay. And I'm just going to turn that down. So as this goes up, it's going to shorten the attack and decay time together. If we wanted, we could reduce the VCA amount. This is the amount of the envelope going to VCA-B. And then use the drone control. we have an attenuator on the input, we can easily do a positive control and make the times go longer. Okay, just building on the last example a bit, we're going to take a look at the cross mod. Same sine wave into VCAB. I'm going to set it cycling. I've set the attack down pretty short and the decay medium. And we'll just get a little ping. I have VCOB from the DPO going into the top VCA here with the envelope being triggered from the end of attack output. So as soon as the attack stage is done, which is pretty much immediately, this sends a trigger up to the top envelope, which is going to open the VCA and let the DPO signal through. But we're not going to be listening to that directly. We're still just listening to this sine wave through VCA-B. What we're going to do is use this cross mod. So what this means is the output that would be going to A is now going to actually modulate the VCA gain or the VCA offset. So kind of like ring modulation. So listen as I turn this up. Again, this isn't actually hearing VCOB directly, it's ring modulating the VCA, a VCAB. So if we were to stop triggering this and simply use the drone here, so this can be a very powerful way if you have just two different oscillators going to intermodulate the two and really play on each other's tones. For example, if we were to listen to the mix out here of both, we can start playing with cross mod between each other. Cycle and duck. So now the envelope, rather than opening the VCA, is starting to close it from this halfway point. Throw some delay on this. Starts to get pretty cool. Okay, let's start to modulate the envelopes a little bit more. Okay, so the signals are the same here. The sine wave from VCO-A on the DPO is going into VCA-B, and VCO-B is going into VCA-A. Same as before. Little difference here is the end of a decay out is now triggering a woggle bug, so we get a new random voltage every time this envelope finishes, or at the start of it starting again. And that random amount is going into the envelope control inputs on both. And in both cases, I have it routed to the decay. On envelope A, it's actually reducing the decay, and on envelope B, it's increasing the decay. I'm going to start here just turning up the envelope amount so you can hear that each one's being triggered by two different channels on the tempi. So what we have here is random changes in the decay, getting shorter and longer notes, and the inverse happening up here. But the cool part here is we're going to use the cross mod. Cross mod's turned all the way up here, and as we increase the amount of the envelope opening this VCA, that's going to be internally connected here to the X mod and modulate this so we can get some like downbeat overtones. We can further make this more aggressive by taking the output of VCO-B and cross-modding back to the VCO-A source. So with just two oscillators and the Double Andore, you can get this very modulatable dynamics, mainly because you have two super modulatable VCAs and the function generators attached to them. Let's do something really fun showing how much we can modulate one of the VCAs using the help from the top and bottom envelopes. All right, let's really see how much we can modulate one of these VCAs. Okay, we're back to listening to VCO-A from the DPO into VCA-B here. The other VCO from the DPO is going into VCA-A, but we're just listening to the VCA-B out. We're just going to be using this for cross-mod. First thing is the cycling envelope, envelope A, is patched out to modulate VCA-B. We'll just turn that amount up, get a nice pulse. Now I have the trigger out here on envelope A set to orange, which means it'll pulse out of the end of attack and the end of decay, which is really cool because we can get a double rate pulse coming in here. So I've got that output triggering envelope B, and we can turn up envelope amount here and get that in. So you can hear that double pulse. We can drone in. Let's turn up the cross mod now. And again, we won't hear anything yet until we open up VCO-A, and we could do this a couple ways, or VCA-A, sorry. I'm going to turn up the envelope amount. We can just drone it. We can feed some of the output of VCA-B into it. So now we're modulating VCA-B 3 different ways. From the top envelope, directly in here, from its own envelope, giving it that pulse, and audio rate modulation from the output of VCA-A via the cross-mod input. So we can get some super heavy evolving tones this way. And this is super fun with either a DPO or mean, it was basically designed to work with the Piston Honda and the Hertz Donut together as the main voice controller for those two voices. It's amazing. Not only is it two really great function generators, I think what really shines here are the VCAs and how much you can modulate them. I'm just going to throw on some delay and reverb and let this play us out. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you give this guy a try. It's to be an amazing addition to your system.